This is a look at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, because we're expecting President Joe Biden and the First Lady Jill Biden in Shanksville any moment now. They have flown in, and again, we don't know if they're meeting with families and such, but they're going to be commemorating those lost there in just a moment. As we bring you all these key moments from the day, we also want to bring you voices you aren't hearing at all the ceremonies, people who reflect in more quiet ways, in quiet moments across the country. Trace Garnier spoke with a man who was inside the Pentagon 20 years ago.
Hi, Chance. As America reflects on the thousands of lives lost during the attacks in 2001, one retired Navy Admiral tells Newsy what he experienced when a plane crashed into the Pentagon.
There was, this big boom, and I thought it was like a 18-wheeler, one of those big propane gas tank things that exploded. Didn't really realize that it was the plane hitting the Pentagon.
Terry Moulton worked in the Navy's Manpower and Reserve Affairs office on the other side of the building from where the plane struck that morning.
And everybody started going down the stairwells. So can you imagine 23,000 people trying to make their way down the different stairwells?
He made it safely outside the building after helping a few people in the stairwell. Others weren't so lucky.
You could see just billowing, just smoke billowing up, And about that time, you started to see some of the casualties coming out. There was a man on the gurney, and he was holding his hands up. He was laying on the gurney and looking towards the sky and holding his hands up. And I thought it was a mannequin at the beginning, because he was burnt and going across, and it was very quiet, and it was just, so surreal.
Moulton's military training kicked in, and he began helping medics as they set up a triage area in the parking lot.
So I bent down and helped a guy named John, don't remember his last name, but smoke inhalation, coughing, and so we had some of those small oxygen tanks, and just put the nasal cannula on him, and then tried to comfort him. And then you could sort of look down the road, and you could see all the other casualties and everybody moving around and trying to help them.
Moulton says all emergency vehicles were on the other side of the building, so an Air Force major offered to use her car to take John to the hospital.
I know he was doing okay. He was coughing a lot. He had the oxygen going, and I think the Air Force nurse knew what she was doing to assist him, and I think I just hoped that he was okay.
For weeks following the attack, Moulton says he and many of his co-workers were on edge.
Every time a plane flew by in the next few weeks, it was like people were very attentive to that plane coming across there.
He went on to serve at the Pentagon 3 times after 9/11, but he says he will never forget what he saw and heard that day.
I still get messages on September 11th from the people that were there that day. It's brotherhood, sisterhood. It was just one of those events that we take care of each other when things like that happen.
184 people were killed here on that fateful day 20 years ago, including 59 passengers and crew members aboard American Airlines Flight 77. Back to you.
Thank you. And at the site where 40 people lost their lives in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the President and the First Lady are now on site to lay a memorial wreath there.